right now we have about 950 kids in 12, 15 different disciplines, from snowboarding, Nordic, all kinds of alpine, free ski, park and pipe, border cross, big mountain. And we have kids that are 5 years old up to the older sort of masters group, which are, some of them are 75. So we cover a big span, and within that span of programs and ages, what we try to accomplish is the love of the sport, which is one of our primary missions. We have a pretty broad variety of staff. We have about 200 different coaches, staff members, and they go everywhere from 1 day every now and then to 365-day coaching programs. Comp Center, we look at a total athlete approach so that we deal with kids, and we want to make sure they're successful as people, as athletes, as students, as parents, as brothers, sisters, friends. And we've seen a really big change in a number of kids where for whatever reason they had challenges in their lives, and this is actually creating a tremendous difference in who they are as people, how they act with each other, how they perform in school, how they behave with their parents. And so we see the athletic side, but also the approach where we really are trying to develop all around good people. And it's double great when they can be super successful as athletes.
So I'm Toad. I'm the director of the all-terrain programs at the Competition Center, otherwise known as ATP. There's basically 4 programs. We've got different ages, different abilities, but essentially we end up having about 400 plus kids and a handful of adults that go out on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So a long time ago, it was a new program called T-Squad. This was in the late 80s, and I started as I was finishing college as a one-day coach, and it's morphed into a couple of different things, a couple of different names, but basically 30 years later, it's 400 plus kids and the all-terrain program. So essentially, we're the entry level into a lot of the Competition Center competitive groups, and what we found is it gets kids used to coming up here every Saturday or Sunday for 14-15 weeks. It also ends up being good training grounds for the parents, because that way they'll know what they're getting themselves into, whether they want to pursue a more competitive program. But basically, we'll hang on to kids from 6 until they're 16 if they want. We'll get them off to more competitive programs like freestyle or alpine or snowboard. And if they stick with us, our goal is to, we try to teach us skiing skills, but we also try to create lifetime skiers, which as we know is more of a mindset and a lifestyle than just learning about where to go skiing.
Anything you choose to do, like any athletic thing or anything, you can choose piano, violin, whatever. If you choose to work hard at it, it teaches you work ethic, how to really challenge yourself to be better at things. That's what ski racing did for me, because I was also a competitive tennis player, but I enjoyed ski racing a lot more. It's just more adrenaline. It was something that I could really focus on, because I'm a little bit, OCD and all that stuff, and like things have to be done right, and ski racing gave me that opportunity to be like really precise and really think about things. And my philosophy is about hard work. I will do anything for those kids. The harder they work, the more I can do, the more I'll do for them. And mutual respect, that if they can see how hard that we work to set things up, to do the programming, the dry land, the whole picture of things, if there's like a mutual, then it's really fun. And that's when that lifelong enjoyment of sport comes in, and working hard for something together, and that then the team comes in too. So that's where our values are really good. I think they're really good. Integrity, with being honest and respectful, and it means all of that stuff. Excellence means do the best you can all the time and be the best person you can be. And our goals are kids to be able to reach their highest potential. We're giving them the environment to do that, to be the best possible people they can be, and do it in a safe environment. New challenges, all of that, all comes into play when we're just trying to, make kids like better citizens, really. I mean, whether they're going to make the U.S. ski team or not, if they get better at skiing and they're working hard, I think that is really, we're accomplishing a lot. Inherently, ski racing, anything that you do and you decide to be better at, is rewarding.
So I originally moved up here after I graduated college, and I actually taught lessons here at Devil's Thumb, and I started getting to know a lot of the local kids in the community, and word kind of got out that I was up here teaching lessons, and I started working individually with athletes up here, and I realized that they had no avenue to actually pursue competitive ski racing if they wanted to outside of the high school circuit, and so I got together with my boss, Jeff Burrows, and we started talking, and we decided that we should start this program. So the one-day program is focused on athletes who are just interested in getting into the sport. It's focused around fun is our biggest emphasis for that program, and then just learning fundamentals. All athletes have to skate and classic ski, so that's always a good challenge for those first learning and getting into the sport. And then our weekend program is kind of a transition program where you still are trying to learn more, you're interested in getting to become a better skier, and you may have the opportunity to race. And then our full-time academy is definitely the most serious of the programs. It's 6 days a week, pretty much 11 months out of the year. We do everything from dryland training to yoga, functional mobility. We do some fun things where we'll go to Red Rocks and do workouts. They are definitely more race focused, where we'll travel all around Colorado and Utah to attend races throughout the season. So my philosophy with coaching that I always tell my athletes is I am your life coach first and your ski coach second. So I try really hard to establish a friendship with my athletes, make sure that they're doing well as a person. That's always been my emphasis, to make sure that they're being treated as a person and not an athlete, and kind of a well-rounded focus, and that I care about how much sleep they're getting, how school is going, how their family life is going, because if all of that's going well, then skiing is going to go well. And then secondly, fun. I try and really have a big emphasis on encouraging the athletes that this should be fun and not super serious all of the time. So I think the athletes will definitely say that I'm a pretty big goofball when it comes to a lot of that stuff, because I try not to be super serious. But I also like to push my athletes. I like to get the most out of them, and if I know if they're not working as hard as they can, or if they're not giving it their full effort, I'll definitely be hard on them.
My name is Laurie Mooney. I work for the Winter Park Competition Center. I'm the manager for the free skiing and freestyle programs, which encompass a wide range from moguls to park and pipe to big mountain, from development levels on up to master's programs. I came to Winter Park in the mid-70s for a pro mogul competition and fell in love with the area and got in touch with some local mogul skiers, and we were having a great old time, and they really wanted to get a program going. So a year later I came out and we initiated the Winter Park Mogul team and got things going. We were hidden in the archives of ski school because it was not part of the ski club at the time, which was predominantly Nordic and Alpine, and freestyle we were kind of the bad boys, so nobody really wanted us at the time. But that was my goal, is to get this freestyle recognized by the ski club, and that happened 2 years later. Typically, they come into the freestyle program, which is called Freestyle Devo, at 7 years old if they have the skill set. And they work with coaches on a regular basis. They ski on their own little mobile course. I don't know if you can see it here, but the resort is very generous in giving us courses for the development level all the way through to the upper level on ambush. So they'd start as a development skier and then go into the next qualifier series, and then onto the comp team, and then on to full-time and FIS. We support kids in moguls all the way through to master's programs. And those are the adults, and the average age, I believe, is 65. And these folks ski moguls, and they ski them hard. So from 7 on up, you can be part of the Freestyle Mogul program.
I started coaching with the Comp Center 12 years ago at the Devo level, and I've coached the last 5 years with the comp team, and the last 3 years I've been the full-time head coach. And definitely, you know, some of the best times of my life were skiing here for the Comp Center and competing in moguls. And I've always loved skiing in general, so when I had the opportunity to coach, it was a great fit, and I drew on a lot of my experiences with my coaches in becoming a coach and learning how to do that. So it's been great and rewarding, and the athletes here are definitely not only good athletes but really good kids. So it's a pleasure to have the opportunity to coach them.
Performance program was developed to basically support athletes in every aspect of growing as an athlete and as a person. So we began with the obvious stuff, like focusing on the physical development and looking at strength conditioning, flexibility, range of motion, but then decided to really expand that to address other things such as sports psychology, honing in on mental skills, looking at asymmetries within the body, also looking at return to sport after an injury, and really getting the athletes the resources they need to succeed. Nutrition kind of spans every aspect of athletic development. So we obviously do a lot of dry land, and we do some 3D motion scanning where the athlete can actually get a 3D picture of their body and get a printout of exactly what their body's doing and degrees of rotation, things like that. We also do a lot of concussion testing and things along the lines of cross-training like yoga and functional movement and hockey and all that fun stuff. Then we sort of look at the sports psychology side of things, and we do a lot of biofeedback to teach self-regulation and stress management. We do heart rate variability training. We do stress assessments. We see how well an athlete can cope with stress and how well they can bring themselves back down to baseline. So we do a lot of parent clinics, actually one a week, and we teach parents how to be supportive sport parents, how to positively push their athletes without putting unnecessary pressure on them, give them the tools they can so that they can, support their athlete in the best way that they know how. And then we also do a lot of coaches clinics where we teach the coaches how they can improve as a coach in terms of supporting their athlete through obstacles, through bad runs, good runs, through fear, all that kind of stuff, so that they can improve their communication with the athlete and the way they give feedback.
So we've kind of built our snowboard program as a feeder program. So we start with 8-year-olds and go all the way up through college. When we have those younger kids, like 8 to 9-year-old, they're in our all mountain program. And there we're just getting them on snow, getting them used to, making clean turns and really developing a well-rounded rider. So we have them in and out of the terrain parks and in and out of the trees, in and out of steeps, and really just get them comfortable with the entire mountain. And from there, we have a lot of kids that start competing around 9 or 10 years old. But basically, we develop them as a well-rounded rider so that they can make the decision of what discipline they would like to pursue in a competition setting. And so from there, we usually start with like border cross and racing, giant slalom, and then start getting their feet wet in the big mountain program and park and pipe as well. We tend to start with racing so that they can get comfortable on their edges, and really the skills that you develop in the race world are transferable into big mountain and park and pipe as well.
I competed on the Freeride World Tour for about 8 seasons after I ended a racing career, and so I was approached by the comp center here to kind of head up the junior freeride team. So that's what kind of led me to here at Winter Park and the competition center. So it's been a good ride so far the last 6 years. So the juniors have a whole tour that's sanctioned by the IFSA, and they're judged on their line score and then their control, their technique and their fluidity, and then style and energy. But the judges really look at your control, your technique, and your fluidity. So I really try to coach that with our athletes, is really try and max out the control, the technique, and fluidity categories, and by picking a line that they're comfortable with allows them to do that, and it usually ends up in a really good result. So it's here at the mountain, we just kind of work on picking lines, and then along with the control, the technique, and the fluidity, we end up being ready for these big events that we travel to.
Just ski smart and get yourself a nice good comp result, okay?
Okay.
Let's do this. Have some fun. Have some fun.
And Logan Boy dropping into offshoot in 3, 2, 1.
We have one girl, Megan Riley, who qualified for the Junior Worlds, which is really cool. This is our second athlete that's qualified for the Junior World in the last 2 years, so it really goes to show the hard work of the athletes and, you know, the whole coaching staff and what the Comp Center has done for these athletes here at Winter Park. So it's been a really cool thing for the Comp Center to bring on a big mountain program.
So we're celebrating 55 years of ski club activities here at the resort. For the first number of years, it was an independent club. It was the Winter Park Ski Club. In 1982, the Winter Park Resort, which was run at that time by the City of Denver under the auspices of the Winter Park Recreation Association, assumed responsibility for running the ski club and changed the name to the Winter Park Competition Center. This was a good arrangement because the ski area had a better control, and quite frankly, the club got a bunch of benefits that they used to previously have to pay for. The Winter Park Ski Education Foundation dates back to 1987. In 1987, it was formed as a 501c3, that's a charitable nonprofit organization, has the objective to assist the Winter Park Competition Center with athlete development, events, and general growth of the sport. Currently, the foundation does a couple of major funding things. Number one, we provide scholarships based on need to our athletes that are participating in Winter Park Competition Center programs. Number two, we provide merit support that can be in the form of travel assistance, entry fees to national championships, things of that nature. And finally, we also help the Competition Center with some specific sports science projects to make our training for our athletes even better.
We have been talking for years from Winter Park Snowboard team side that we really all wanted to get back to just celebrate the period of time that we all had together competing in sport. And so this is a great opportunity to do that, not only for Winter Park Snowboard team and hopefully a bunch of Nordic jumpers out there, but for all the other disciplines as well. So the great thing about the reunion is it's all about supporting the Comp Center as a whole. So you didn't necessarily have to be an athlete, but you could be a parent, you could be grandparents, you could be friends and family from the Valley, from the Front Range, who have watched athletes and celebrated athletes as they've come through the program all the way through the Olympics, and really celebrated what the Competition Center has done for so many people and for the resort as a whole. And this really gives everybody an opportunity on an annual basis to give back to the Winter Park Ski Education Foundation and really support all the great things that it's been doing in its support of the Competition Center along the way.
Because the Winter Park Ski Education Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit, we're able to collect funds from individual donors under the auspices of the Colorado Community First Foundation, also known as coloradogives.org. coloradogives.org is a consolidation of many foundations within the state of Colorado that does great vetting to make sure that they follow all the IRS rules and charitable giving rules, so you know that your donations are approved and fully tax deductible when given through coloradogives.org.